Good evening, everybody. How's everyone doing? Outstanding. Good to see you all, and we're going to get started. We're going to start with just, in respect of many people's religious beliefs, we're just going to have a moment of silence. We don't want to pray and offend anyone. Is that okay? All right. Outstanding. Thank you for that observance. We're going to start with just a basic roll call so we can establish this being an effective meeting. So that being stated, since I have the mic, it has been determined by the full council that I operate under the auspice of chair. And the chairperson, just basically I'll give it to you right out of the ECPS, it is the point person for coordinating meetings and making sure tasks are being completed. That's it. We have a lot of administrative logistics to take care of, so I'm not going to bore you with a lot of fluff. But that being stated, I'm going to pass the mic to the next person so we can establish a quorum and get started. Is that okay? Is that okay? Yes. Outstanding.
All right, y'all. So my name is DeAndre Rudis. I am the Community Engagement Specialist for the 15th District Council. What that means is I'm the direct engaging body with the community as well as the Chicago Police. So if there are any public safety concerns or policing issues that you may have in the 15th District, I am the contact person for that. I am also looking to build relationships with the organizations, faith-based community, other electeds and other leaders in the community that can really help us get to the root of the public safety issue in the community. So by all means, my card is on the table. Feel free to share that with anybody that you know that needs to be a part of this work and that I need to know.
Thank you, DeAndre. Arewa Karen Winters, and I am the nominator. And so my role will be to help choose the next commission. Right now we have an interim commission. And I'm also the point person to connect to connect us to the entire DC body and to the commission.
Outstanding. So now you have the chair, you have the nominating counselor, and you have the community engagement counselor. We have a quorum. Fellow counselors, can we start our meeting?
Yes.
Okay, outstanding. So the roll call has been established. You have your full council present. We want to thank you once again for attending this particular meeting. It's our first meeting, and we want to thank you, the voting populace, for bringing us to the table. That being stated, our next item on the agenda, you want to supersede the introduction since we just gave one? Okay. We won't be repetitious. So it says that we have the approval of the meetings of our previous meeting. Well, since this is the first meeting, it's a moot point. We don't have any minutes to approve. Is that correct? Outstanding. So we have to go on the vote before we go any further. That being stated, in the rolls itself, we're going to vote that we accept the particular rolls that we have established.
I motion to accept the roles that we have established for each of the members of the District Council. All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Who's going to second the motion?
Second the motion.
Okay, so Councilor Rudis has made a motion that the roles that were established be accepted. It was seconded by Councilor Winters. All in favor? Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. Has been a motion second, and it has been voted upon. It is now a part of our official record that these particular roles will be as designated. Next thing on the meeting, at this particular point, I'm going to pass the mic, and you can follow the agenda as written.
So we have bylaws that will guide the way these meetings and our activity amongst one another will go. And so the only amendment that we have to our particular bylaws is we would like to revise them to an open agenda component that allows for us to develop a mission and vision statement for our district council. So with that, I set forth the motion to revise our bylaws again to reflect an open agenda component that allows for the development of a mission and vision statement for the 15th District Council. Do I have a second?
A second.
It has been motioned and second. Motion by Councilor Rudis, second by Councilor Winters. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, it has been established that we will leave an open agenda for the bylaws itself. Next vote to be voted upon is our monthly meetings. Councilor Rudis?
So we have determined that we will have monthly meetings on the second Thursday of every month at 6 p.m. These will be revolving meetings, meaning that we will be in different places of the district each month at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So I put a motion on the table to accept monthly meetings every second Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion has been made on the floor. It has been seconded by Councilor Winters. All in favor of our meetings being on the second Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? No opposers, it shall be established.
All right, so we want to next move on to a vote to implement a meeting facilitator from the community. And Madam Chair, could you explain a little bit what that meeting facilitator would be doing?
Absolutely. Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. I feel better talking to you standing, if that's okay. A community facilitator is someone like the young lady Barbara that's sitting at the back table. We're going to grab someone from the community, and this is one way that we can network and get to know each other. And you have an opportunity to take ownership in what we're doing here. It's going to be someone, whoever it's just be selected at the meeting, or we will, if you so choose to sign up to be the next one for the next month. It's nothing that's going to be so encumbersome. It's just something for you to a buy-in to add to the meeting itself, and it frees up some little work. Is that okay? Just facilitate, nothing more than signing in, nothing more than passing out cards, nothing more than comment cards, retrieving them, working crowd, things of that nature. If it's something you need, we want to serve you. So that's basically the role of that facilitator.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So with that, I move to vote on the implementation of a meeting facilitator from the community. Do I have a second?
Second.
It has been motioned by Councilor Rudis and seconded by Councilor Winters. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed to a facilitator? So as established, a community facilitator will be a part of this particular quorum. Next item.
So the next item on our agenda is a vote on the bylaws that we originally revised. We also have to accept those to make sure that they are standing living document that again governs the way that So we move to, so the bylaws will govern the way that this council interacts with police and community, as well as how these meetings are governed. This is a living document that can be revised in the future if we so need to, which will then again go in front of you all for a vote as well. And so with that, we are going to go ahead and move forward with the bylaws as constituted with the revision that we voted on earlier. So with that, I make a motion to accept the bylaws with revision, and I need a second.
Second.
Councilor Rudis has made a motion to accept the bylaws, all 6 articles. It has been seconded by Councilor Winters. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? So it shall be. It has been voted upon and approved with no opposition. Next item, please.
So we move, so the next item on our agenda is to vote for the allowance of Spanish interpretation equipment and or accessibility that will include materials in Spanish. I would like to say that this is something that we're currently working on as a city. Language interpretation is sorely needed, especially for a community that is becoming more and more diverse, and we have yet to be there. And so we wanted to make sure that it was notated in a public setting that we are advocating for such equipment that we need in order to properly interact with all members of the community. And therefore, we need y'all's support, and so that's why we're making this a vote in front of you all, and so that you all know that we are fighting for this. So with that, I would like to go ahead and move forward with a vote for the allowance of Spanish interpretation equipment and or accessibility that will include materials made in Spanish. With that, and I need a second for that motion.
Second.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor Rudis, for making the motion. Thank you, Councilor Winters, for seconding. All in favor from the floor? Anyone opposed? So let it be established that we are being inclusive and we will continue the work of getting it done. The sixth and last item on the agenda, please.
So for the last item that we have up to vote, we have establishing legacy honors. This will honor community staples who have been at the forefront of reform, accountability, and oversight. These are persons that actually led us to getting here. When we open up for discussion, we'll be able to go back and forth with you all in a bit to kind of answer your questions as to the reason why we're here, how did we get here. But for those persons that are in the know, we want to make sure that we honor the people that came before us that made this even possible. And so with that, I actually want to pass it to Councilor Winters so that she can explain a little bit more.
Okay, so for this month's meeting, we wanted to honor Bob Frank Chapman, who is someone we call the father of the movement. He called me in yesterday. He's unable to be here. He's out of town, but he was sending someone we have an award for him, and she is not here, so we're gonna kind of move that down until she gets here. But this is something that we want the community to allow us to know who those folk are in the community that you feel have been, and so I was just saying to them that this is someone in the community that you know who has been involved around police accountability and reform, or who has been engaged with our 15th district office. And I just mentioned to both of them, this should also include our officers. So if there's an officer that you feel has been doing amazing work in the community around reform, oversight, and accountability, that we want you, we chose this first one, but we want the community to nominate people. We want the community to give us names of someone who they would like to see us honor from month to month. Okay.
All right, so with that, I move forward to establish a legacy honors. Again, this will be honoring community staples and police officers who have been at the forefront of reform, accountability, and oversight. And with that, I just need a second.
Second.
Okay, it has been motioned by Councilor Rudis and seconded by Councilor Winters that you, the people, will be honored as well as for your legacy of planting. As I said before, there's a lot of trees out there that people have planted that you didn't plant, but we're enjoying the shade. So that being stated, let it be stated, it has been motioned and seconded. I need all in favor to say. Anyone opposed?
I'm not opposed, I just got a question.
Yes, ma'am. Question on the floor.
Yeah, I don't understand what this legacy is. I'm saying, anybody that lives in the 15th district, or how does that go?
I'm going to bring you the mic so they can hear your question.
I just don't really understand what the legacy thing is all about. It was that you guys nominated and already chose to get the first time.
Okay, she said she's not certain as to what the Legacy Award is all about and who the person is that has been designated to receive the inaugural award. Would you like to answer that?
Okay. Mike, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is just a way we kind of hopefully get some buy-in from the community around the work that we're doing. And this is specific to someone who has been engaged with whether it's CAPS, whether, you know, they've been present at BEAT meetings. It could be a block club president, because everything is revolving around public safety. And so we nominated Barbara Frank Chapman, well, one, because we just came up with this, but because he is with the CARPER, the Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, and that organization is responsible for 36 of us. They supported 36 of us running for district councils. They educated us, they helped us with volunteers, they helped us with literature, and he has been on the forefront since forever, for as long as I've known him, since 2016, and I met him, you know, in the community doing the work, and so that is who we want to honor. And again, it could be a community member, religious leader, business owner, police officer, whoever you feel is exemplifying something in a community that is bringing about public safety or is working towards public safety. So I hope that answered your question.
Nothing to do with age or how long they.
Nothing to do with age, you know, it could be a teenager, it could be nothing to do with age.
Thank you.
Question on the floor.
Good evening. Okay, on the legacy, is that gonna be a monthly thing or is it gonna be a one-time thing? Since you have a meeting every month, is these people gonna be able to be nominated at each meeting once a month to give those awards out, so it's gonna be a one-time thing?
This question is, this is going to be a one-time thing or a monthly thing? This will be every month, sir, every month. And just so you guys have a better understanding, can you have that award? Can you just read it even though he's not here? The reason we are here today is because of the consent decree. And there are people that have really put in their sweat and their tears and their time to bring this into fruition. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the consent decree, so we understand that. We're standing on the shoulders of a lot of people. So therefore, we're not so entitled or privileged to think that it's about what we think. No, we're here to represent you. You voted us into office. So we're making a motion to let you know that we understand, we respect that, and we want to give back for your hard work. So Councilor Winters is going to read the actual award so you'll understand a little bit more about what it's about.
Okay, and as a matter of fact, before you leave tonight, if there's someone that you have in mind that you would like us to, you know, acknowledge next month, please share their names with us. So the award says Chicago's 15th District Councilors 2023 Legacy Honor. Be it resolved on the 8th of June 2023, we, the council, present this certificate to Barbara Frank Chapman for your many years of dedication to public safety and police accountability. You have forged our current work, and then all of our signatures.
And I just wanted to read an excerpt written by the tribe about Frank Chapman, and it goes, Frank Chapman was a key organizer in the movement for police accountability. He demonstrated, and he was helpful, and again, as Councilor Winters stated, in helping to deliver these district councilors that you see in front of you, because he did lead the charge for at least 36 of us, really helping to educate and helping us to understand the fight that he has been fighting since before I was alive, and I'm 35, so he's been putting up and really at the forefront of accountability since even before I got here. And his whole idea was utilizing us as district councilors to demonstrate what can happen when you have democratic option to say who polices your communities and how those communities are policed. And Frank Chapman is a champion of that, and for our inaugural award, we chose Father Frank Chapman to be able to receive that honor. And as Councilor Winters stated, there's numerous folks, some in this room that need to be honored this same way. And as this district council moves forward, we're gonna continue to honor all of those individuals who have made strides in policing, public safety, and accountability to get us to where we are and to move us forward from where we currently are, because we still have a long way to go. So if you have anybody that you would like for us to acknowledge, you can leave that with us before you leave. And you can always follow up with us at another time, because again, our cards are back there. And as the community engagement person, I am the person that you will contact with that. I did see another question. Yeah, Ms. Berkeley? Yes, so this is a 15th district award. So yeah, we want to make sure that these folks are living in the 15th district. And so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and again set the motion to establish the legacy honors, which again honors the community staples as well as police officers that have been at the forefront of reform, accountability, and oversight in Chicago in the 15th district. And so I just asked for a second.
Second.
Okay, it has been motioned, it has been seconded, and you have questioned, and hopefully all minds are clear. All in favor say anyone opposed or question? Thank you. It has been voted upon and now will be a part of the official bylaws. At this particular time, I put you in the hands of Councilor Winters.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, I'm going to share some information. So on the back table, Nana, is some cards back there on the table? Yes. The question cards in the basket. So Nana, if you pass those cards around to everyone, so when we get to our public comment period, we hope we'll be able to get to all the questions, but we're going to definitely go through as many as we possibly can. And these questions are relevant to matters around public safety in the 15th district. But I'm also going to share some other things that are coming up right now. There's an application out now to become a beat facilitator. They're accepting applications. Is that on the table? Is the sheet on the table?
I believe so.
Okay, so we have, unfortunately, we don't have copies, right? It's something else that we have to work on. But there's one copy back there on the table where if you take your phone, you can take a picture of the QR code, but you can also contact someone in community policing at the 15th district in regards to the beat facilitator. And what we are hoping is that we would love it if each of the, how many is it? I don't know, but we would love to see someone in the 15th district represent each of the beat 9. We would love to see if someone would represent the 15th district. If they're not filled already, we would love to have a beat facilitator, because this is also in conjunction with our work around accountability. So that's where, community members take a lot of things that are happening on their blocks and in their neighborhoods. And so we'll definitely be working with that body. So those applications are open. Also, the CCPSA, the community, oh my God, it's Alphabet City, man, these acronyms. The Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability has, in July, next month, they will be opening applications for the community commissioners. And there are 7 community commissioners, 2 from the west side, 2 from the south side, 2 from the north side, and 1 can be from any area, and they consider that person citywide. So right now we have our interim commission, but in July the applications will be up, and if you are interested in serving on the commission, do I have that? No, let me see if I have that. Nope, I only have district council roles. Okay, so I only have our roles, but I do know just offhand, so what the community commission is responsible for, they can look at the CPD's budget and make recommendations. They can also recommend the termination of the superintendent. They can recommend the termination of the president of the police board. They can recommend the termination of the head of COPA, which is the Civilian Office of Police Accountability. And this is, of course, if they feel like, these individuals are not, working at their best or delivering, what we want as community members. And they also get to set policies. They get to set policies and they get to look at current policies within the police department. So that is a very pivotal role. I look at the community commission as being the interfacing, meaning they will work alongside the city and the district counselors. We are the outer facing, where we will be working directly with community members. So if you're interested, you should visit the CCPSA website, and the information, more detailed information is there. And what else is open? Let me see the beats, the police. Oh, and police board. There's applications now for the Chicago Police Board. So if I don't have the description of the roles of that, but if you're interested on serving on the Chicago Police Board, they also have, their applications are open right now also. And all of this is paramount to the work we're doing around public safety. And I think that's it. Okay, so I think that's, okay, so but back to the community commission right now. They do have 2 policies that they're working on, and anytime that they work on policies, they have to open them for public comment. And we were told to share this with y'all, but again, you can go to the CCPSA website, and it says, there's a heading that says what policies are the commissions working on. And so the 2 policies that they're working on right now, under review by the commission, it says amendments to, I know you all probably won't know what this is, but amendments to the GO8-03- prohibition on associations with criminal organizations. It was introduced in January 2023. And then there's another amendment to GO1-03, Department's Directive Systems. It says introduced January 27, 2023. CCPSA voted scheduled to be determined. And we have a Facebook page, which we have not activated yet. But hopefully early next week, we will have our Facebook page activated. So it'll be connected to the CCPSA website, and we're gonna put all the links for everything that I just mentioned on the website, so that way you can go there and you can see from the beat facilitator to the new positions that are coming open. Everything will be on the website.
Councilor Rudis?
I want to add, additionally, we're going to create a newsletter for the 15th District Council as well, which will contain much of this information that we spoke on tonight, make it a little easier for you all. And we'll also take in suggestions about how we can improve that site or that newsletter, because we want to make sure that it is communicating what you would like to see. And so that's something that we'll be working on as well, and that can be out within the next couple of weeks. Takes a little longer for us to do some things, and I actually would like to use this time to do 2 things. One, we're done with the voting section, so this is that we pretty much covered the business, and we want to make sure that we give you all an opportunity for public comment. And I'm not certain, but I feel like within that we'll also get some questions as to how we got here. But if none of those questions come up, I was going to address that. But I'll wait until the public comment portion, because maybe you'll have those questions. And so the other thing I wanted to do before I move to that is to acknowledge who we have in the room. And so as you all can see, we have Alderman Mitch here. We have Commander Parham from the 15th District. Petrosonis? Sergeant Petrosonis, our DCO Sergeant from the 15th District. DCO Sabu and Villanueva and DCO Sabu and Villanueva. So DCO Villanueva is actually one of our new DCOs. So I haven't learned his name yet. So,
What is DCO?
Yeah, and this is where I know that we're gonna have some conversation. That's why I'm gonna go ahead and move to public comment so that you all can start to voice your concerns. And again, both public safety and policing issues, as well as any questions you have for us so that we can kind of expound on how did we get in this position to be sitting on the stage, as well as what our intentions are for the 15th District Council. So with that, if you want to start moving around the room, and, or I'm sorry, we have the cards, right? I'm sorry, I don't want to.
The blue cards that are in the back,
Did we want to go off the cards, or do we just want to pass it around?
it's not that many. How about it? We just have them go. There's a mic right there by the gentleman in the head has a mic. But before that, can we have the alderman and the commander address the crowd? By all means. Who wants to go first?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to see everyone here, and I'm glad most of all to have our first district council meeting with the 15th district. And to all of you, as they mentioned, Frank Chaplin was an advocate, not only for 15, but in the city of Chicago. Frank started out with what they call a gap organization, and they went back and forth, many community meetings held by the city because they couldn't come up. Two groups were fighting for language, and finally it got past city council, which came out of the district council. So each one of them had to be elected, which is all a new process for us. And having new things good sometimes, give us good different direction. So I'm happy to be here and to support the effort, whatever we are trying to do to make it better for 15 and for the city of Chicago. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Andre Parham, acting commander of the 15th District. It is an absolute pleasure, as always, to be amongst you. As you all know, policing is changing, and we're going to be at the forefront of the change. We are all working together, the community, the police department, our elected officials, our faith-based community, our public partners that we have, and especially key groups within the community to make this community and this city one of the safest big cities in the entire United States. There is nothing that we cannot do as long as we do it together. Austin is one community working together for one common goal. And that is not going to stop. It's just going to push forward, and we're going to get better, and we're going to look at things that we do, and we're going to assess how we can make that better. There's no egos here. Our sole goal is to make this community the best in the city of Chicago. So thank you, guys.
So right before we open for public comment and pass the mic around, I do want to acknowledge Sergeant Brown in the back. I didn't see you. You was back there. You was like behind the door. We make it happen for the CAPS department if you didn't know. So I appreciate you being here too.
Okay, well, by mandate and by bylaws, we must give you a comment period. Sorry, Brother Darius. I'm gonna try to stay put. Miss Facilitator, Mama, can you come please? You can pass this mic.
Okay, so for public comment, we're supposed to have, and this is in our bylaws, if we need to change a little bit, we can, but we have 20 minutes for public comment, and each community member has 2 minutes to give a comment, something that you would like to see from the district council, something that you feel are concerned about in terms of all this oversight now with our police department. Whatever it is that you have for us now, okay, so she has the microphone back there. She'll take it around if you just raise your hand, and she will come to you. Thank you.
I'd like to get a point of clarification. You mentioned that they're gonna put out a newspaper from the council. Is it gonna be weekly, monthly? Monthly, okay, thank you.
Thank you all for having this meeting and giving such great insight to what this is all about. But my question, and it is a concern, how will you all work with the grassroots organizations in the 15th district on public safety?
So that would be my responsibility on the district council, again, as the community engagement specialist. And so we are always asked, what can the community do for us? At minimum, point us in the right direction to the people that's making the moves on the ground, because this right here is a grassroots effort. And so we want to make sure that we connect to the folks that's doing the work. I know we have a lot of large organizations in our community, and they do some very good work. And we also have some very small organizations, and they do some extraordinary work. And so we want to make sure we tap into everybody. Everybody's a resource. All of the people in this room are a resource. And if you need us to be involved in any type of way, please reach out to myself. I'm in contact with the other counselors. I make sure that I send them the information that you send me in terms of events, and if they can make it, they will. And more often than not, you'll probably see me again. That's the role that I have accepted, and so that's the best way. Just tell us where we need to be and where to go and who to connect with. And again, everybody's in this public safety fight, large and small, young and old. So we want to make sure that we incorporate everybody.
That's right. A question over there?
I would like to say good evening. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Is this meeting about police accountability and safety of the citizens of the city of Chicago? Is this meeting about accountability for the police department?
Yes, it is.
I can't hear you.
Yes, it is.
Okay, my concern is the safety of the city of Chicago. We have tried everything, and the police department have tried everything. The mayor have tried everything. But yet every year we're getting 500, 600, 700 people are being killed every year. What are we looking for in a superintendent? Do we need a superintendent with backbone, and we need a mayor with some guts in order to make sure that your voice. And I'm thinking that we're gonna try everything that you can think of, except for one thing. And I think all of them, Talavera tried for 3 weeks and worked the building. And that's taking the policemen out of the cars and putting them on the beat to walk the streets. Put them in the neighborhoods to walk the neighborhood. And they back up to be the sector sergeant that is over that section, and they back up to be a patrol officer that patrol the street on cars and things. We have to try something other than what we have did in the last 70, 50, or 60 years to make this a situation work, because right now it is not working. Under the last 3 police superintendents, last 2 police superintendents we had, Johnson and Brown, they both ran afoul. Nothing went right. Everything went wrong. We are still losing lives day after day. People are not allowed to go out their back door to the garbage can. They're not allowed to walk the street. They're not allowed to drive up down the expressway. They're not allowed to go to the park. They're not allowed to go downtown. They're not allowed to ride the hill. Because of what? They're afraid of getting killed, afraid of getting shot, afraid of getting hurt. And what is we doing about it? What is the mayor doing about it? And what is the police department doing about it? Usually I can sit down and see 2 or 3 policemen cars coming down my block at least twice or 3 times a week. Red night, don't see them anymore. And I read an article in the paper this morning about, I think it was you, was saying that the police was complaining about nobody got their back. Well, the police want somebody to have their back. Who got our back? Who is going to keep us alive? I should never live like this. I am in my 80s now, and I'm cruising. But a lot of people are not going to make it. So what are we going to do? Are we prepared to bring the mayor out here and tell them that this is what we want? We're going to pilot that program in the 15th district, and the police is walking the beat in the neighborhood and out of the neighborhood, on Artillery Street also, and see if we can put a big dent
so much for that comment. I just want to say, and this is my take on this. This is new, right? This is the first time something of this magnitude has happened in this country. Chicago has made history right now when we have this new relationship. But one of the other things that I forgot to mention that should also go on our Facebook page is the ordinance itself. So community members can read what is stated in the ordinance. And that's what I just want to read to you. One of the areas in the ordinance, why we have come together, it says that this ordinance established a community commission for public safety and accountability for the purposes of increasing public safety, ensuring that CPD activities are directed towards maximizing public health and safety while minimizing any harm to city residents, building trust and improving interactions between and among CPD and the people it serves, ensuring that CPD policies and practices are rooted in community needs and public input, increasing public support for CPD policies and practices, ensuring that CPD resources are not used inefficiently and address public health or safety issues that other professionals are better equipped to address, encouraging preventive, proactive, and community-based and evidence-based approaches to public safety. And this is, I don't want to say it's about to be trial and error, but that is where we are now. And so this is a major attempt for us to begin to look at not only what our police are doing, but also look at what our police are not doing. But this gives us a level of engagement with them that we have not had before. This is a new opportunity for them to not just come into communities with what they do or how they operate, but really have to take into consideration the things that the community want and how the community wants to see our police respond. And the numbers, and to be honest, I don't, and maybe the commander could speak to this, but to be perfectly honest, and it's painful to hear it, but I don't know if our numbers, it seems like it's different, but we've had very high numbers. At some other areas in Chicago's history, we've had very close and very similar numbers, but I think what's happening now is, you know, the crime culture has gotten younger, they've gotten more aggressive, and social media is driving a lot of what's happening right now. But we as community members, we all have a responsibility. We have the first responsibility, in my personal opinion, that we have is my father was our first police officer. You know, families have to take accountability. You know, community members, neighbors have to take accountability. This is going to take, and Mayor Johnson has said this effort is going to take all of us, religious leaders, business owners, organizations, police officers, just everyday folk to turn this around. But one thing I do know and I hold to be true, that out of chaos comes order. So this is a very chaotic time for us right now, but I just believe in my heart that with a new mayor, with the incoming new, brand spanking new superintendent, and we had an opportunity for the first time to weigh in on that, what we want to see in a superintendent. We were able to even make recommendations as to who we want to see in a superintendent. And so this is a very new process that we're undertaking here, and I'm just going to be hopefully optimistic. So I hope that answered your question. I hope. Close.
Sir, let me just say this to you. We're the council, but we're not here to remove or displace or replace CAPS. We had a lot of rich information there. And what I'd like to tell you is that, did you sign in out there? Sir, the gentleman with the last comment. Did you sign in? Did you sign in? Fantastic. What beat are you? What beat do you live in? I understand. Do you know your beat number? No, sir. I was basically asking you, what beat were you? May I have your cross streets? I don't need your address, just your cross streets. Iowa and Austin. What beat is that, Commander?
1511.
1511. Okay, 1511. Thank you. That being stated, this is a great time for us to tell you that the information that you've provided, we're going to attach and send through. I couldn't write it all down, I'll be honest with you, but I don't want you to leave here without your questions answered. And we want to address you because we appreciate you coming here to share your concerns. But I believe in order to get something you haven't had before, you gotta do something you've never done before. In our particular homes, you may wanna vote me out after this, but I'm just gonna say it. Pookie, Ray Ray, and Junebug live in somebody's house. And the police need the information, particular beat, to know where Pookie, Junebug, and Ray Ray reside. Amen? So you may have some information, whereas the commander's clearance rates can go up if you share. But if you do this, how could it get solved? I'm not saying it's your fault, but what I'm saying is, are we doing everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen to another family? You don't have to answer that question. But this is something that has never occurred before. You are about to help us forge the foundation for other peoples to follow many, many years to come. Yes, 15th District, for those of you that may not know, that goes from Austin to Cicero, Roosevelt to Division. If you live within those particular boundaries, you have a fiduciary duty to get active. They may wear the uniform. We live inside the boundaries, but it's all of our communities. We can come up with a lot of different things that's wrong, but what do you suggest we do to do right? To make it right? That's why this open forum is now open. We want to hear from you. And we want to hear what you recommend and what it should look like. Yes, the mic. Alderman Miss, please.
I just wanted to question what I see that I think that we need, and one of them has to do with the CAPS meeting. Since we came out of COVID, before people would come out to CAPS meeting, we used to be the same people, Mr. Ruffin, but you know, Steve, from years and years ago, saying folks come out. A lot of those people have passed on. We need to look at ways to get the younger generation and millennials involved in these CAPS meetings. And how do we plan on reaching out to them to get them involved if we're going to say they're our future, they're the ones that need this, and they need to know. And then the other thing I want to know, how can we work to help the constituent to understand when you make a call, how do the police prioritize those calls? Can we get information to share with the public? A lot of time, what we feel is emergency may get dropped to the bottom, but we don't even know the protocols. So can we request that information? Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman.
Say what?
So, let me just give you a little background about myself. Every day I come to work, I think about a day that I had when I worked in the 6th District when I was new. There was a girl, 1999 November, shot through the heart, died basically in my arms, and I will never forget as long as I live. So every day I come to work, I try to make sure that that does not happen. Not just to myself, but to other young officers, to people who live in the community, because I carry that every day. When people ask me what gets me out of bed every day, that. People ask me what makes me so motivated, that. If you've never experienced something like that, consider yourself extremely lucky. Now, I say that to transition to this. Last year, the 15th District, over the summer, had the best summer as far as shootings, homicides, and shooting victims that it had in the history of our database system. I'm going to say that one more time. The 15th District last year had the lowest amount of shootings, homicides, and shooting victims in the history of our database system that we were able to track. Remember this, it's a work every day. There is no end game. Every day that I put on this uniform, every day that I lace up these shoes, I'm thinking, how can we make this community better? How can we stop a family from grieving the loss of a loved one like you have helped us out with I don't know how many times? That's what keeps me going. So I'm gonna say this. What we did last year was not an accident. It came from grinding. It came from everybody, from every level, working together every day. And there was no, and there is no end game to this. Every day we're starting new. And there's another year, and we're fighting, and we're grinding. And I will say this. You know, we have a very unique plan in the 15th District that my good friend Edgar Brown helped me come up with, that my good friend Tim Brown back there helps us implement, that involves everybody. And like I said, we work hard, we look at it, we reevaluate it every day. Every day, every element in this district and the community are working together to ensure that you guys and your families are as safe as humanly possible. We ain't using these strategies that you used in the 70s. We ain't using these strategies that we used in the 80s. We ain't using strategies that we used in the 90s. This is a brand new day. A brand new day that we embrace. A brand new day that we embrace together. And a brand new day in which we're going to have a new level of safety in Austin. That's what we live for. That's what we work for every day. But it's everybody together. We're all in this every day. So some people say this is the district. To me, this is the district. This is an operating table. And everybody that's sitting in this room, every policeman in this district, every political official, we're all the surgeons. And each part of this body on this operating table needs another tool at another time. And it's our job to figure out which one is to be used in that particular problem. So, like I said, we're in this, we're grinding, and we're doing some innovative things. Last year, the superintendent of the Kansas City Police Department saw what we were doing online and decided to come out and follow us around. So he followed me, Edgar Brown, around. National news came out multiple times to see what are you guys doing in the 15th District. And it ain't what we're doing in the 15th District, it's what we are doing in the 15th District. So, is that good?
Thank you.
So I wanted to also talk about the idea of having officers walk their beats, because that's come up time and time again. And I'm with you, and I believe that if we continue to hear that meeting after meeting, and not just in our meeting, but other meetings across the city, then we will be able to utilize the strength of what we were built for, because everything that gets mentioned in these meetings on public comment becomes a part of the work that we are striving to accomplish. And so my hope is that that continues to come up, because I'm in agreement. I do think we need to get back to a space where officers can be more active, if you will, in being able to be friendly with the people on blocks, because it keeps coming up time and time again, and I think the community is ready for it. And I would also like to point out that the 15th District is one of the only districts, well, one of 10 districts that have what we call district coordination officers. These are DCOs. These are officers who have the capability of being off the radio at least 30% of their shift. And they're supposed to be utilized in a capacity where they're able to connect directly with community. And whenever those issues arise, they can be your first point of contact, because you can have their numbers, you can have their emails, and you can reach out to them directly so that they can sit with you, build relationship, and help you strategize and problem solve. In the city of Chicago, We only have 10 districts that have the DCO, so we're fortunate to be one of them. One of the things about our program is that we haven't had the support that we need. And we did recently have a press conference in which we're trying to get in front of Mayor Johnson so that he can spread the neighborhood policing initiative to all of the districts, as well as properly staff and give us the resources needed so that this program, because it's a good program, can be successful in not only the 15th district, but all of the districts across the city. So I would ask for y'all to research the Chicago Neighborhood Policing Initiative, become a little bit more familiar with your DCOs, two of which who are sitting here, get their contacts and have those conversations with them so that when you need an officer directly, you can talk to them, and hopefully whatever public safety issues you have, they can utilize their resources and we can utilize our resources again with all the people combined in this room, as well as the organizations that aren't present and the people that aren't present to help with that issue, because again, we're all in this together. Secondly, OEMC handles our calls to 911. So whenever OEMC is the Office of Emergency Management Chicago, and so that office is the one that actually handles your 911 calls. They ascribe a priority level to those calls. So if you're constantly calling about a public safety nuisance, but there are calls for domestic violence or shots being fired or other criminal events that have a higher level of threat, those are going to be answered first, because those are higher priority level. And so it does, in our community, make it seem as though our calls are going unanswered because of the priority level of them, but we have to understand that, one, we are short 1,000 officers, right? Some would argue that we have more officers per capita than some other larger cities, right? And so what we do have to figure out is how do we transform policing in a way that matches our city and utilize what we have, because that's what we have. But we also got to understand that we got to get to a space where it's us in community trying to figure out some of these low-level offenses with one another so that we can call police and get them to be in the spaces where they need to be when there's violent crime that we can't solve at all. And so that is part of the issue. The last thing that I'm going to say and move on is that we will be bringing individuals into our meetings, and we can do that monthly. And again, y'all tell us exactly who y'all would like to see, and if you don't have any answers for that, we'll bring the folks that you need to see anyway. And we're going to bring them into this meeting, and we're going to educate you all on the process of this city as it relates to public safety and policing, and any other spaces that matter. And so, again, you all have to let us know who you'd like to see, but we will definitely bring the folks that need to be in these rooms to y'all so that y'all can become more educated.
Yeah, one more question. You still have a question now? No, you're good?
Wait, before we get to that question, I just kind of want to piggyback off of something that DeAndre was saying. So, and one of the things we talked about is our district being informed, and when we are informed, we can make very informed decisions. And so some of the people who we're going to bring, like during the discussion time, like we're going to bring someone in to introduce the consent decree, because that is also historic for Chicago to have a federal consent decree in a city where community members were involved in it. And I am on the Chicago Consent Decree Coalition. And we're also going to bring someone in to talk about COPA, to talk about reporting. But, and we could come back to this, but I know that in these meetings, people are going to come with, things that are happening on their blocks and things that are happening, in their communities. And we can process this. But what I'm thinking, because this is about where are we really going to see the transformation or what's happening if we don't have a focused area? And so what we hear time and time again is about police officers getting out of their cars, and we know they do, but we need to see them do it more. And I know right now they're doing something called Positive Community Interactions, PCIs. So maybe this could become an action item for us for our next meeting. Like over these next 30 days, like how many of them are actually getting out of their cars, meeting, engaging with the young people, and not scaring them so, they do their thing. But getting out, seeing people on the porches, hanging out outside of churches on Sundays when people are coming out, engaging, having conversations with people, like that could be a focus area. We could look at clearance rates could be a focus area. Response times could be a focus area. That way we can, the department can put some measures in place. We support the department with whatever those measures they put in place, and that way we can see, we can get benchmarks and see. Because that's the only way I see us really doing that kind of oversight and engagement, if we come up with some focus areas that we really want to work on with our police department in the 15th district. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
You know, like they say, everyone talking about the policeman walking the beat. Maybe if they slow down in the neighborhood, really patrol the neighborhood slow, within 5-10 miles an hour, looking down each gangway, come down the alleys throughout all 22 police districts. Because it seems like it's a hard thing, the union fights that is a handicap for a policeman to be walking the beat or whatnot like that. Two, if a pursuit happened, most of them ain't in shape to run. Okay, I'm not knocking anyone, but it seems like if they slowed it down. Two, when you call 911, you want to be anonymous, they give you a song and dance, you're trying to report a crime that's going on now, other than them dispatching the policeman. So that whole 911 system needs to overhaul, where they need to take into account when people call in anonymous and whatnot like that about a crime going on, or trying to tell, like you said, baby and boo-boo, to tell them what's going on, they treat it that way. So from the top to the bottom, it needs to be things. But something they can do right now is this 15th council, 25th council members, and the other 21 councils, they need to talk to the commander. The commander needs a roll call to tell the policemen, stop running the lights unless they're an emergency, patrol the community the way they teach them in the academy when they come out, look down each gangway and whatnot like that. And there's no harm when you're riding down the streets to speak to the neighbors and whatnot like that. We got some officers in 15 that do a banged up job, but unfortunately, there are very few. So if they would slow it down, stop running the lights, unless they're an emergency, and stop. So there's a lot of things they can do, because that foot patrol, if I was a policeman, I wouldn't want to be out there walking the beat without a car and whatnot like that, because at this day and time, you need at least a minimum of 2 policemen in each squad car. It's unsafe for one policeman to must be in a squad car. So we need to start from the top and talk to people at the OEM system, for when people call anonymous, stop giving them a song and a dance so they can solve some crime. People's in the community, if you see something, tell something. Point blank, forget the code. Like you said, baby and boo-boo, they in somebody's house.
That's right.
Okay? So I don't have a problem. If my son do something, I'll turn his ass in. And
Good
pardon
for you.
my French. But, it gets to the point where people don't. And if they improve 911, where people can call in anonymously without the third degree, and actually people see where their calls come in and they're reacting to it, we would do more calls. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on the floor that has a question? Sir? Listen, okay, I heard you.
Good evening, everyone. First, giving honor to God, who's the head of my life. My name is Minister Sylvia Jones, and I'm from the 6th District, B632, Commander Parham, and I'm still waiting on that phone call. Ms. Winters, On behalf of Darius Johnson and myself and the Chicago Alliance Against Racism and Political Repression, and giving you your support, we'd like to present these flowers to you. And thank you.
Well, that's very appropriate. It actually is a great segue into where we're going next. Brother Johnson, who just sat down, can you stand up, please? Brother Otis Johnson. Brother Darius Newsom, can you stand up, please? These are two candidates that ran in 15th District as well. There were 7 of us who vied for the position to be here. And I would like for you to join us in acknowledging and giving them a round of applause for jumping in the race. Thank you. This is indicative of what we're talking about here. Many hands make light work. There's a lot of work that needs to be done and a lot of things that can be done with the people in this room. It starts with one idea. It's a shifting of the mind. It's a shifting of the mind as to realizing that forget where we are. It's tough, but what are we going to do about it? And what are you prepared to do? Sean Connery asked Kevin Costner a serious question in The Untouchables. Down there on Taylor Street off of Racine, Sean Connery, who was Elliot Ness, wanted to get Al Capone. You remember the scene. And he was winding up that old phonograph, and the music was getting very dramatic, and he had, Nitty was on the fire escape in all white, coming to knock him off because he was giving Elliot Ness a hell of a time. So he got shot up, but Nitty had a knife, and Sean Connery asked him, "You'll come to a gunfight with a knife." But however, what he didn't know is that Nitty had backup. Here's the backup. The police are in a fight. The community is in a fight. But in the words of Sean Connery, what are you prepared to do? That's what he asked, and that's what I'm asking you. What are we prepared to do here? Are we prepared to get uncomfortable to get comfortable? Are we prepared to turn our son in if he does something that's unlawful? Are we prepared to do what's necessary so we can sit on our front porches? It's easy to come here and throw up a bunch of things that's wrong, but what are you prepared to do to correct it? And that's our next question. What do you want your council to look like? In order to do that, I'm going to ask a few questions. I got about 5 people. Can I have 5 people to stand up?
Don't be scared. That's 1. Give me 5. Is this all? All right, ma'am. What beat do you live at?
1511.
1511. He told me that, so he should get the gift. What? Sit down. I'm telling you. Would you give her a gift? 1511. What beat you live at? Where do you live? Just cross streets.
11.
Just cross streets.
You say it's 11.
Just cross streets. What?
Oh, I live on Gladys and... What is this?
Gladys and Laverne. I don't believe that's 11. Is that 11 people? Gladys and Laverne. Sit down. That's not right. He sent you off. Don't take a test with him and go and get the wrong answer. That's okay. We're good. She got to get, all right, somebody else? Don't be vengeful. We want to show the police that you know where you live. And that's the beginning of this. How can we fix what's happening if you don't know where you live? If you don't know what beat you want the police to represent? Alderman, what beat you live in? Give Alderman something on the way out the door. Yes, sir. What beat are you?
1524.
1524. Give the gentleman something. What beat are you, sister?
11:15.
11:15. Lord, she still got it wrong. Lord Jesus. Jesus. I know Gladys and Laverne.
Well, we did take one too. We got,
I said Liz.
and I lived, that's what I was trying to say.
Got it. And he told you. Okay, try one time. Lord Jesus.
What you say?
Look,
It ain't three.
this, Jesus is. I'm gonna come back at you and ask you. Anybody else? Watch this. What beat you living, sir?
15:30.
Give both of them a present. Good Lord, they got it. Darius, what beat are you?
I don't know.
Cross streets. Grace and Long. He said he don't know, an honest man.
Thank you.
Grace and Long, what beat is that? 22. I have the map on the table up there. What beat is that, Karen? 23. Command. The sergeant says 15:23. Outstanding. All right, so it's fun, but it means something. If you don't know what beat you're in, how can you go to the CAPS and the beats meetings? How can you disseminate information? How can you get information to take it back to your block clubs? How many of you don't have block clubs in your community? Don't be bashful. Outstanding. Let's start there. How many of you don't know every neighbor on your block? Every neighbor on your block. That's, you do. That you do. Brother Johnson said he knows every neighbor. Give him a gift. The lady Brown says she knows every. Give him one too. Give her one too. That's important, people. I said this on Saturday and I'm going to say it again. I asked, what would your ideal police department look like? I said Mayberry. Mayberry. The deputy was given one bullet. I don't want to hear that there was no black in the script. That's not where I'm going with this, okay? So don't y'all hear me. Aunt B's cookies. Everybody knew that Aunt B made the best cookies. When they knew that they were doing something they had no business, they checked themselves in the jail because they left it open. When you had too much to drink, they slip it off. So what am I trying to say? I'm saying that Mayberry was a town that policed themselves so they wouldn't have to be policed. Okay. So if we hold ourselves accountable for what we're doing first and foremost, know what beat we're living, know all of our neighbors so you know someone that may be suspicious, then we'll know information to give them. Does that make sense? I hope so. Because this is something we're looking for to get something we've never had before. I don't know about you, but I'm not living like I live in Beirut. And you shouldn't either. We have a mayor that lives in Austin. If you don't strike while the iron is hot now, you might as well sit down and get cold. I'm serious. I'm going to openly applaud the 15th district. I'm sure you heard about a woman who was found in the alley, Austin, 5700 block. They solved that case. How, get somebody, give it up. Give it up. They solved that case. You guys know how many mentally challenged people you have on your block. So you single women, be careful. You single men, be careful. And if you see something, as Brother Johnson says, say something. Stop looking out your window. You know everything that's going on the block, but the police come and you're the last person to get out and tell them something. Why? Why? What are you scared of? Success? That's what we want this to look like. We want you guys to own this council. We want you to help us do the work. We want you to write the template. lay down the foundation. Tell us what you want and let's make it happen. And we're not asking. We want you to tell us what you want. And if you don't, then guess what? No one's fault but yours. Next thing on the agenda.
Wait, before that, I just wanted to acknowledge Miss Sylvia Jones. Thank you so much. I didn't know who you were with your mask on, but I also want to say that she was, well, I know you was my notary. She notarized quite a few of my documents, and I'm sure she has also for a lot of other district councilors out at the Alliance office. Thank you so much. I was not expecting this. And this is also what I want to say about Mr. Johnson and Darius. Y'all know what we said while we were running. We said 15 was gonna work together regardless. And so I hope, and I'm pretty sure that, y'all, I'm gonna hold y'all to that. We said that 15 was gonna work together. And so I know this is not a competition, but I really want, and I say this, I want 15 to do so well that we become the model, right? Because other districts have had it's our first meeting too, but some other meetings got off to a very, very rocky start. But it is everybody's first. But I want 15 because we're one of the smallest districts. And I just believe in my heart that, we can do that and we can be that. So we definitely gonna need your all support. And it was something else that I wanted to say. Right. And so I hope everyone signed in, and we do have your email addresses so we can keep you updated and we make sure you all get the information. But it was something else I wanted to say right before we do the announcements in the next meeting. Okay, maybe it'll come back to me.
All right, so one of the things I wanted to make sure we cover is how we got here. So, I guess the best way to put this is, there's been a struggle for a long time in policing, and the city of Chicago has a very sordid history with policing. And so on the backs of so many individuals, too many to count, but two that really come to mind are Rakia Boyd and Laquan McDonald. A couple groups were formed in order to create ordinances that were really community-led so that community had a higher say in public safety and policing. And so those two groups, they had different philosophies on how to get here. But then we had Mayor Lightfoot get elected, and she was a police reformer. That's what she ran on. And so in order for us to get to this space, those two groups had to figure out how to work together in order to utilize their strengths to make sure they held the mayor to what she said that she was as a police reformer. So in 2021, those groups helped to pass what is now known, or those groups formed to pass what is now known as the Empowering Communities for Public Safety Ordinance, or ECPS, which created the district councils, us three individuals that sit in front of you. In all 22 police districts, there are 3 elected representatives like us. In addition to the district councils, it also created what's called the Community Commission. These are 7 individuals that at the citywide level will help us to do the work in police, public safety and accountability. And what that looks like is 2 individuals from the north side, 2 from the south side, 2 from the west side, 1 citywide, meaning one of those areas will have an additional person that will be elected. I don't know the specifics, but 2 of those individuals will be young people 25 and under. 18 to 24 will be represented. The other 5 members will have some sort of specialty. You have to be a lawyer, an organizer, and some other pieces. Again, you can find more information at the Community Commission for Public Safety website. And as Araywa mentioned earlier, we have an interim commission. Those 7 people that are in place now are interim until we start to move forward with the nominating process, which she will be a part of, to install the 7 permanent members. And again, as she mentioned, those 7 people will be able to, one, have a say into who the superintendent is. So they get to vote confident or non-confident for the superintendent. If non-confident, that person has to go in front of city council and go in front of a vote to determine whether that person will stay in that role. If not, then those 7 people, just like they're doing now, will lead the search for the superintendent. In addition, they will also put the head of COPA, the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, in place. I apologize. So they will be able to vote out the head of COPA. They will also, they'll be able to also do the same with the police board, as well as implement policy and or change policy in policing that affect our lives daily. And so essentially, we are the hyper-local element of that policing accountability piece. Anything that comes from you all goes directly to them so that they can inform how policing will be done in the city of Chicago. So we need all of the input that we spoke on tonight from all of you all so that we can improve policing. That's the only way it's gonna happen. Again, we're moving into a new millennium. The kids, the players, and everything else that is happening in public safety today is different. So policing has to match. The people have to match. And so we have a new concept for the first time ever in the city of Chicago, and it has the most teeth of any city this side of the U.S. So we need all participants that's sitting down there today to make sure you chime in with whatever. So to Ms. Bertha's comment, any organizations that you know of that we need to know, leave them with us. Any issues that you have in any of the beats that you live in, leave them with us. And any solutions that you might have, ideas that we have not thought about before, leave them with us so that we can be a part of trying to figure out what public safety and accountability will be moving forward for the 15th district.
Thank you, DeAndre. Okay, so before we close, we're doing good on time. I hope we keep it like this. Before I give the information about our next meeting, and again, like DeAndre said, we want to move from ward to ward, from community to community. But I just want to go back a little bit, just put something in context about the 2 groups that were both proposing different ordinances. So one was GAPA, which was the Grassroots Alliance for Police Accountability, and then it was CPAC, which was the Civilian Police Accountability Council. What had happened was Mayor Lightfoot wanted to propose her own ordinance, and that is what forced those 2 organizations to come together because they felt they would have more power in the unification of their organization. So that is what had happened. And then, what else we got? So we just have our next meeting, is that it? That's all we got? So, right, so we have a little networking time because we just at about 7:38. I want to again thank Commander Parham and all the officers that came out with us tonight, Alderman Emma Mitz, who in her absence. So, and just so you know, we have 4 aldermen in our district. That's Emma Mitz, Alderman Telefaro, Alderman Jason Irving, and we have a very small portion of 24, and that's Alderman Michelle Scott, and hopefully Monique Scott.
We got a representative from Danny Davis, Congressman office. Congressman Danny Davis' office.
And a representative from Congressman Danny Davis' office. And what else? Okay, so before I give the next meeting date, I just want to leave us with a quote, and that says, "There is no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about." And I just want to read that again. They say, "There is no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about." And tonight you all showed us that you all care, and I'm looking forward to working with you all in the future. So our next meeting, which is the second Thursday of July. Oh, speaking of July, that's what I forgot. Next BEAT meetings are in July, so everybody has an opportunity to, we got the sheet back there, it's got it laid out with the beats on it, take a picture of it, go to the CPD website and see it, and let's start turning up at these BEAT meetings. So our next meeting will be July 13th at Columbus Park, and this is not the reflectory, but the Field House. Columbus
Central.
Park Field House. 500 South Central in the Arts and Crafts Building.
That's correct. That's correct. We have one person that had his hand up for a moment. I know that our open session is done. Brother Oldrick Johnson.
Like you said, quote you did, also Martin Luther King said, it's always the right time to do the right thing.
Yes, yes.
Secondly, as well as the council member, you got everybody's phone number. You got to ask in order to receive. You said you want people to work with you and whatnot
Yes.
like that. If you need me, you call me. You know what I mean? I volunteer for a lot of things. So I'm busy 364 days a year. But in this thing, if it's worthwhile, I'm there, and everybody else will be there. But sometimes when people get in a position, sometimes they forget to ask. The good book says, ask and thou shalt receive.
Outstanding. Thank you very much, Brother Johnson. Okay, Ms. Harvey.
So, good evening, everyone. I'm Nikki Hartman. Congratulations to all of you, but I do want to clear one thing up, because I don't want anyone to leave with any confusion reference to CPAP and GAPA. CPAP and GAPA was mandated under the consent decree, and it was to make sure that power didn't lie in one place. So like it was stated, certain people try to put ordinances up themselves, but to make sure that that power was actually distributed across the lines and the community's view was true. That's why CPAP and GAPA, under the dissent decree, is created. And that happens in all 50 states. Any dissent decree that is placed, you have to have those two committees, because those two committees don't necessarily agree, and they may not agree with the powers that be, because they are different voices. So I want to make sure that that is clear, and that you guys understand exactly what those two committees are. They're not a friend to anyone, they're a friend to everyone. Thank you.
You're welcome. We have your emails, your phone numbers back there, and this is a 236-page consent decree. On your way out, if you put a CD next to your name, we will email you the link. An informed community is a dangerous community. An educated community is a dangerous community. So you don't have to take anything we say for granted. You'll know for yourself as to how we got here. Is that all right? Outstanding. So that being stated, all minds clear?
Oh, just one more thing. So we decided that the first group we would bring next month would be someone to introduce, that we have a PowerPoint that we do that kind of, cause y'all not gonna read them 236 pages. So we have a PowerPoint that kind of breaks down and really speaks to and addresses where your rights are as community members, as residents, are embedded inside the consent decree. So we figured that's the first group that we'll bring out to be our presenter for July. Okay?
Okay, listen, we have a lot of, we have, to walk in my shoes, wave your hand. She owns the property at Cicero and Madison, and the business partner as well. Anyone else? We need to know how to connect resources to the need of our community. So that's what this is for. I want you to eat all that food up. That mic's bothering me. I want you to eat all that food up, get to know each other. We should have introduced, gave you an opportunity to introduce yourself, but you know what? On the way out, meet 3 people that you didn't know when you came in. Is that all right? And that being stated, all minds clear? Brother DeAndre? So by the power invested in me as chair of District Council of 15th District, and all other motions and voted in comments and questions that have hit the floor, at At this particular time, I'm going to consider ourselves adjourned.